Possible treatment for COVID-19 may be just around the corner. The antiviral drug Remdesivir is just one of the many drugs being looked at. During an Oval Office meeting with President Trump, Dr. Anthony Fauci announced the results from a study of more than 1,000 coronavirus patients treated with either Remdesivir or a placebo. The data showed an improved recovery time from 15 to 11 days for the patients that were treated with Remdesivir.
We want to make sure nothing gets in the way of these patients getting the medicine, so we made a decision to donate about 1.5 million vials of Remdesivir. We'll be working with the government to determine how best to distribute that within the United States. We'll be working very closely to get that to patients.
Dr. Fauci says the drug is opening the door to the possibility of treating the virus for the first time since the onset of the pandemic. And joining us via Zoom to explain more about the experimental drug from the Kind Health Group is Dr. Georgine Nanos. Hi, Dr. Nanos.
Hi, Hunter. How are you?
Great. And this is just such an exciting thing to get to talk to you about today. It's something I've actually been following for a while now when rumors were coming out about how beneficial this really could be for treatment, but step people through exactly what Remdesivir is and how it is proving to be treatment really for the first time since we've seen this pandemic begin.
Sure. Yes, I agree. It is a very exciting time to finally have something really positive to look towards. So Remdesivir is an experimental drug developed by a U.S. pharmaceutical company called Gilead Sciences, and it's a completely experimental drug. We haven't been using it commercially anywhere in the world up until now, and still it's an experimental use. But it was developed several years ago in hopes of treating Ebola virus, and in 2018-19, they discovered that it wasn't in some trials wasn't effective against Ebola, but it was effective against MERS, which is a cousin of COVID-19, as we know. And so that's how it came to start to be used in experimental treatments for COVID-19. So what happens is, because this is obviously a global pandemic that we want to treat quickly, it's hard to come up with new drugs. So we have to look to drugs that are existing either in the experimental drug market or existing drugs that we have on the market. So that's how this came to be.
And we know that it actually today was announced that they're allowing emergency use authorization, but that this isn't necessarily the FDA giving it the all clear. What steps happen now that they've seen this and they're testing it? Where do we go from here?
That's exactly right. So FDA emergency use authorization is not the same as FDA approval. No doctor can just go ahead and write a prescription for you and you can pick it up at a local pharmacy. We're far from that still. What that means is that they will make this drug available to hospitals on a need-based system, and a lot of those hospitals are participating in multi-center trials, which means lots of hospitals coming together in these phase 3 trials to really assess for the safety and efficacy of the drug. And that's kind of the advanced trials for FDA approval, which is way faster than we normally would see that happen.
And also a little tidbit that's fascinating is Gilead Science is actually based in Oceanside. And this is something that obviously San Diego has been on the front lines in so many different ways of helping to fight this virus, but then also now a big way here in treating it. But who gets access to this? Is it only those who are on the verge of dying, or is there kind of criteria that has to be met?
So the criteria is going to be shifting, I'm sure, daily. But right now, it's only available in hospitals under, strict guidelines and criteria for people who are already exposed. It's not being offered right now as a preventive drug. So right now, we're only using it as a possible treatment for moderate to severe disease, and it's hopeful. But again, this is very early data. We need a lot more data to make good determinations on rolling this out on a nationwide basis for everyone in a more readily available fashion. But we're not there yet.
And just on your opinion, moving forward, does this, you said hope, use the word hope. Do you think this is a step in the good direction for us?
It certainly seems like it's the most hopeful step we've had in a long time, of lots of missteps and uncertainty. So I am hopeful, but it's again hard to say. We need more data, more science to really determine that it's going to be safe for everybody, because that's ultimately, it's got to be safe and effective for the
Safe
entire
and
population.
effective. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, Dr. Nanos, thank you again for being here, for talking to us about this. And as you said, it is definitely a good step for us. We appreciate it.
Thank you, Hunter.